Hey, everybody, welcome to the Tom Rowland Podcast, brought to you by Starbright. We're brought to you by Starbright today. As always, Starbright is the maker of an awesome line of products to take care of your boat. That's where I use it most, whether it's the salt off product or any of the boat cleaning products. Starbright has you covered. Definitely check them out. They're not only a great company for the products that they have, but they also do a tremendous amount in conservation, and that is certainly important to us all.
I'm Ed Emory, and this is the Tom Rowland Podcast.
Ed Emory, how are you, my friend?
Doing well, grinding away.
It seems like it's been quite a year on the South Fork already.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year. We've had really good water conditions. It hasn't been too high or off color. That's kind of the mixed blessing of the snowpack we have. It may look a lot different in July and August than we're ever used to, but we'll take what we have for now and run with it.
So the snowpack, tell me about the snowpack. It's low?
Yeah, we got up to,
time of the year?
We were over 100% of normal snowpack at one point, and then we had the January rains. I mean, I ski a lot at Grand Targhee in the wintertime, and I've never seen rain in January. I mean, it was just unheard of, and it diminished and wiped out the snowpack. When you got it over here, you saw runoff. We're not having runoff. Typically, the snake over in Jackson doesn't fish until mid-July or later. Right now, it's clear.
Right. Wow.
So,
but all that water that you got in that rain in January, did that fill the reservoirs?
No, we're at 42%.
Oh, wow.
They're talking about giving us only about between 50 and 80% of normal flows throughout the rest of the season.
Wow. Okay. Well, for right now, it seems to have made the fishing pretty incredible. I'm sitting, I was at a birthday party for my mother-in-law, and I get a text from you with these pictures that I couldn't believe, of your client catching a 30.5-inch brown trout. I get this picture from Ed.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, holy cow. So tell us the story, man, because I want to hear it from a guide's perspective, because it's one thing to, every angler would like to catch that fish, but not as much as every guide would like to catch that particular fish, because that's the biggest fish I've ever seen come out of the South Fork. I don't know about you. I would think that it's one of the biggest fish that you've ever seen, possibly. But every guide wants to catch that fish. It's probably more important to the guide, because actually for an angler, and hearing this lady's story, this was the first time she'd ever even fished the South Fork of the Snake River. And but you've been on the river, what? How long?
36 seasons, a total of 67,000.
36 seasons.
67,000 guided river miles. That's 2.8 times around the globe with clients in my boat.
Incredible. And so let's hear this story. I want to hear it, because and from the guy's perspective, because this is really a lifetime kind of thing, I think.
Okay, we'll backtrack to 2011. 2011 was a really big water year. We didn't have hardly any hatches until the water dropped and warmed. 2011, my boat landed a 31.2-inch brown. And that was before they were doing the catch and release state records. You'd have to kill the fish, get it weighed, all that great stuff to qualify. And that's just not the ethos that we practice. So those genetics are far better off in the river to propagate the next generation of bigs. I call them megalodons. So that happened in 2011. There's always a break-off season. I call it break-off season for a reason, because we break off. I start counting fish. So this year, we're up to 11 break-offs. And that's on 2X. And you know how strong that 2X is. So the break-off season comes in two different phases. It's right before the salmon fly hatch, that 2 or 3 weeks before, as those salmon fly nymphs migrate, as the Sally nymphs, everybody's migrating, and these fish are starting to feed on that migration. So we get a really strong period of time where we get this break-off season. And that was happening at the end of May when Caroline was here, because this is an early year. So fast forward, Caroline has 2 days booked at the lodge. She's a really interesting woman. I'm going to call her a sponge. She doesn't want to be the best at everything she does. She wants to do it right. And she learns from every little aspect in her life. She's not there to take the glory. In her world, the glory goes to God. She's very humble. She's one of those perfect people that will listen to somebody who has the experience, does not come in with presupposition. So I find that out when I first meet her, which is not her first day she booked. The first day she booked, she couldn't make it. She was chasing turkeys in Sundance, Wyoming, and she hadn't shot her bird yet. As she was saying, those birds were all, quote unquote, henned up. So she had to wait it out. She opted for another day for turkey hunting because fishing is just fishing, right? She doesn't know what's in front of her. She has no idea what's in front of her. She has no idea what the South Fork is capable of. You do, others do, but she has no idea. She knows she's going to a great lodge. I have to give a shout out to Oliver White and the South Fork Lodge for taking care of our clients and making them comfortable enough so when they come out with me, they don't have any hesitations or regrets. So she comes a day late. Well, she was kind enough to give her day that she missed to 2 employees. That's on Friday. So Friday, I take out Andrea and Caleb. Andrea is a dining room manager. She doesn't really fish. She wants to know the water. She wants to have the experience. Caleb's a junior guide trying to break in. So I was put together with those 2 as a day. Because Tom, I don't take days off. I just go. I just grind. And I love what I do, and I keep following my dream. So I'm really excited to take these 2 out and show them my world, show them the river through my eyes for a little bit. So we're working this nice big hole on the upper stretch that already had broken off 2 fish earlier in the year when Andrea hooks into a 25-inch plus. Now, mindful, she doesn't really fish. She doesn't know big fish. She's caught fish in the past, but nothing of that caliber. Mm-hmm. She goes ahead, and the fish is running towards the middle of the river. She goes ahead and feels the rod pulling out of her hands. The fish is literally pulling her towards the gunnel of the boat. It's that big. Caleb sees it. I see it. It's over 25. We're all excited for her to get her picture, the whole 9 yards when she does the Vulcan death grip.
Oh, no.
The subconscious says a big fish is pulling this $1,300 worth of gear out of my hand. It's pulling me over the edge of the boat, and I am going to hold on for dear life with both hands with the Vulcan death grip so that doesn't happen. And it was like a shot went off. That 2X broke. She fell backwards a little bit, not out of the boat, but just kind of fell back in shock. Caleb and I are looking at each other like, oh, my God. We want a woman to catch a fish of that magnitude more than anything else. Us guys have that shot. That would have been fantastic. So it took the indicator and the 2 flies below. We started working the hole looking for it. I got it on the green for 25 seasons. I've seen indicators break off. We can chase the indicator, catch the indicator, hopefully, and get the fish that's on still. We sat there for half an hour. We couldn't find it. Andrea has to be back for a 1 o'clock meeting. We book it downstream about a mile, and I'm looking, and I go, oh, my God. There is the indicator. Because I do 2 different colors. I do a white and a fuchsia or a white and an orange so people can see the indicator turn for light hits. as opposed to all just one color. And that's my color combination. We see it towards the shore on the left-hand side. I excitedly row down there. I give Caleb I have a really super long handle net. Give him the super long handle net. He scoops up the indicator and it swims back to the middle of the river.
Oh, no.
We're thinking, okay, Megalodon Jr. is on. It goes out to the middle of the river. We're all kind of crestfallen for a second. I pull over, drop the anchor. I said, Caleb, give it just a minute. This is just like Captain Quint in Jaws. When they shoot those buoys in Jaws and they go under, Quint just goes, just wait. They're coming back up. And all of a sudden, about halfway out in the middle of the river, you can see the indicator pop back up again, just like Jaws. And it swims towards shore because it doesn't want to battle that heavy current. We're just thinking this is an incredible situation that Megalodon Jr.'s on. We're going to go get that. Caleb walks up, makes 2 casts, hooks the indicator because it's a nice foam indicator. He hooks it, starts pulling it in, and I just look at the line and I look at the indicator, I look at the fight, and you could tell by the way the rod tip's doing this, that's a whitefish. He gets it in, lands the indicator, the rig, and the whitefish. We're a little crestfallen about it because it's not the big fish, but it's one hell of a story, right? I cut those 2 flies off. I hand them to Andrea. And I say, this is a memory. Keep these flies. And she gave them back to me. We end the day. We had a great day. They've had a great experience. Andrea has something to share with the guest at the lodge now. Fast forward to Saturday. Saturday was a front coming in. It's raining. It's cold. It's snowing down to 8,000 feet. And here comes Caroline, this petite Georgia girl. She's ready to fish. I know she turkey hunts, so I know she can handle this weather. She was dressed to the nines in great rain gear, everything else. We're going to go out and we're going to have a great time. So we go to our private access. There's a little hole at the private access that most everybody kind of skips by because it's little, right? Doesn't look like it holds much. Mm-hmm. Her second cast, she lands a 21-inch hybrid. She's excited. That makes her trip already. She's done something great. She's given the day to a couple of employees. They learn the river. They have a great experience. She's rewarded with a 21-inch hybrid. And all I can think in my mind is, hey, girl, that's just a start. Next fish she lands is a nice 19, really fat hybrid, and hanging out the side of its mouth is a rubber San Juan worm. And I kind of jokingly pull it out and hand it to Caroline and say, you just bested somebody else who had lost this fish earlier. You beat that fish. So she's all kind of pumped up. She's got some photos. We're doing great. We start our day after that. We start drifting down. She catches another, 16, 17 fish. She has one fish on a flat, Tom. Especially in the rain, these big fish can move into the shallows. She has one fish that she hooks, goes behind the boat in about 5 feet of water. I see it doing this. And I know it's a big fish of some sort. Don't know if it's a cutthroat, don't know if it's a brown, but it rolled. And again, Vulcan death grip. Fish gone. So I'm crestfallen now because I know that's a really good fish. That's a potential. We kind of settle ourselves back down into a hole below that. This hole is about 40 feet deep. Super fast water on the right side. Nice riffle and shoreline on the left. But there's a tree at the bottom of it. And every time we've hooked a big fish in that hole, it goes for the tree. You'd have to been there for 20 years to know that tree's there. It's just a big bush. It's a shrub. Just doesn't ever leave the hole. So we get to the hole. She catches a couple of nicer fish, 18, 19s. She's super stoked on the day. It's still raining, almost snowing. And she hooks a big. She gets this big on. And it runs right for the tree in about 12 feet of water. And she breaks it off. This is one of those fish that kind of pulls her over the edge, does everything it should to try to get away from it. But it's one of those strong fish that runs, is running towards an obstruction. It's moving fast and hard. So that doesn't mean it's truly a megalodon. That means it's a bigger fish. It's a really nice fish. But it doesn't mean it's a super big like the one that rolled before. So she breaks that off. And we're a little crestfallen, but we know the potential's there because this is 2 in about 20 minutes that are really nice. So what do? I have Andrea's flies from the day before. I have them sitting next to me for a reason. I didn't start with those. Those have reverence in my mind. She's done something fantastic by hooking that fish, unfortunately losing it, but recovering it. So there's some reverence there. Those flies mean something. What do? I reach for those flies after she breaks off that fish in the tree. I retie the rig. Second cast later, megalodon. You can tell.
Wow.
She's thinking it's bottom. She's thinking she's done something wrong. It's megalodon. It's rolling. It's as long as my leg. It's as thick around as my thigh. You can see it rolling. These megalodons do the death roll. They do this to wrap up your line. They don't get big by running towards an obstruction, running out to the middle. They burn too many calories. They roll and they know they can break you. So that's their behavior. The fish rolls 3 times. I'm kind of worried now because the fish is now rolled in its line. And you know from salt, when it does that, it's almost impossible to get it back unless it unrolls. I pull the anchor as quick as I could, as hard as I could. I pull out around the fish because I know once that fish gains the advantage, it's going right back to the tree. I work the way around it. The fish is now, the indicator's now back under. It's a 7-foot indicator. It's now back under, heading right into the tree. And Caroline, to her credit, she's caught saltwater fish in the past. Pretty sure she's done tarpon, she's done reds. She knows how to U the rod. Not like this, not where it drops and the angler drops. She bends the rod at the perfect angle. And she's got it bent at the perfect angle. I'm moving the boat to pull the fish away from the tree because she can't give it line. She can't retrieve line because she's at that moment that we need to unroll that fish. Not we. That fish has to unroll itself. That's the good grace of God. We were so lucky as it went into the tree, it wanted to hit some of those branches. And in its attempt to get into those branches, it turned its side and unrolled. I watched the indicator go 1,
Oh, boy.
2, 3. At that point, I truly knew the size of that fish because a smaller fish, when it unrolls, will do this 1, 2, 3. It's the cadence 1, 2, 3, small fish. 1, 2, 3. That fish unrolls as it's trying to get in the tree. Now, my mind is we've got it out of the tree. She's got a fair fight now. She's got a chance at it. It tries to go back. My mind is pull the fish out. Everybody's mind is get that fish in deep water so we can battle it, right? My mind's different. I don't want it in deep water. I want it in the 10 to 15 foot of water where that fish lives and feels comfortable all its life. I don't want it trying to go down to the bottom of a 40-foot hole. The current, too many things happen there. So I'm directing the boat into 10 to 15. It's a nice slope like this off the bank. We've got control of it. We're working it. It's trying to get down to 15. It's coming back up with her pull, down, and then you could tell it just started to give. And at that point, Caroline did the right thing. She's got the rod bent at the U. She raises her arms. And this is a Douglas Sky G 4-weight 10-foot. This is not a 6-weight rod.
A 10-foot 4-weight.
10-foot 4-weight.
Wow.
That's all I fish anymore. Been doing that for 20 years. So she's fighting it. It's unrolled. We've got it. The rod's bent to max for that rod. I mean, it's doing that. And I just slowly bring the boat over into the shallower water, not shallow, but 10 feet. And that fish now is trying to swim along the contour. Well, I know the contour is if we can direct that fish just a little bit up, it's going to get shallower and shallower and shallower, and we're going to get that fish. And that's exactly how it played out. And that was just amazing. She had the fortitude, she had the ability, she had the background to do that. And then the whole storm came together.
Tell me about netting it, though. Like, did you net it inside the boat, or did you get out of the boat to net it?
No, we netted it from the boat. If you bring a larger fish to shore like that, they don't want the shallows. That fish lives its whole life being sunlight and shallow adverse. That fish lives in a depth that we don't really understand. We know it's there. It doesn't live in the shallows. So if it goes to the shallows, we try to get out and net it that way. It's not going to work. So we net it from the boat. I have a super long handle net. Tom, I've taken an ordinary net with a big basket, and I stuck a broom handle into it, and I wrap it with some sort of tape to keep the handle from being slick, so I don't have to get out of my seat to go jab at a fish. Jabbing at a fish is the worst thing you can do, especially on a big.
Yes.
So I have this super long handle net. I'm sitting in my seat, and I just slowly raise up, put the net at an angle, and she guides it right to the net, and we pick it up. So if she hadn't had that saltwater experience, she would have tried to lift it. I had a client a year ago last June. I have 2 nets in the boat. I keep 2, one for backup. This big net that landed that 30 and a half last year in June, I tried to get a fish into that net, and I had to break out my backup net to try to trap that fish as opposed to net it, because it wasn't going to fit in that net. And that's when the angler lifted the rod and broke the line. So Caroline did all the right things. She absolutely slid it sideways, brought it into the net, guided it in there, and we got it. Right now, we're moving into the shallows of the riffle. Neither one of us can believe it. We're not even looking at each other. We're just kind of looking off in the distance like, what just happened? There's no big high five. There's no congratulations. One step. Sissy! Sorry. There's no big high fives. There's no congratulations. We're just we're both looking in the distance going, like, what just happened? I just can't believe this.
Wow.
And she can't believe it. We work our way into shallow water. We start off looking at the fish, knowing it's big. We're going to measure it loosely and release it. The thing is that earlier in the day, when we sit and before we meet our clients, the guides all sit together, kind of in a group. They talk about the day of fishing or the next day or whatever. One of our young guides kind of looked at me and goes, the state record's only 30 inches for catch and release. I'm going to get that fish. I'm like, dude, you're a young guide. You're here for a year. It's going to take a lot more than that. There are a lot of circumstances. And that's what put the seed in my mind to really look for the new state record. State record is right on the nose at 30. We're going past that. We know we're going past that, but how much was to be determined by the tape. So we get the fish in the shallows. We have it in the net. No pictures yet. I'm fumbling for the tape. We get the tape, and now it's 30 and a half. The girth, Tom, of that fish is as big around as my thigh. You saw the picture. The pectoral fin engulfed her whole hand. That fin was so big it covered her whole hand up. So we take the tape. I get a good, accurate measurement. Fish. We photograph it. We get the grip and grins. And part of the catch and release record you have to do is you have to film the release. There's really no trust amongst anglers and fishing game. It's probably on somebody's wall. No, this is a catch and release. So we filmed the release, and I think I sent that to you. Nice, slow, easy release. Yeah. We work her into the water, and she's free to go for another day.
Wow. There's some tense moments when you got a fish like that. That's just like the way that you're talking through the landing of that fish. I mean, as a guide, you struggle with, okay, your client seems to be doing everything just right. Maybe more instruction is counterproductive here and maybe less instructive. I mean, maybe less information right now is not the right way to go. Like you just have so much experience here with 67,000 guided river miles. How do you know, like advice to young guides that have this fish of a lifetime or fish of a career? Like what would you, like you obviously went through with your experience, you knew exactly what the contour of the bottom of the river was. That was a really important thing for landing this fish. But if you were to give a young guide some instruction or advice on how to, I mean, some people on the first one, they freak out, right? They're just so excited and they want it more than their client. You know, they really do. The guide really wants this fish more than their client because it means, it probably means more to them than it does to the client, honestly.
Yes, river credibility.
I mean, that's your reputation, that's your credibility, that's your career right there. If you land that fish or you don't land that fish, there is a massive difference. And so what kind of advice would you give a younger, less experienced guide about getting that fish in the net and landing it?
First of all, it's situational awareness. Know where you are. Know what's on the bottom of the river. Know your hazards. Don't be in a hurry to net that fish. You're at that fish's mercy till the very last second. You've got to determine what that fish is doing. Is it running? Is it tumbling? Is it turning? What's the water in front of you? What's the water behind you? Who's coming around you? What's here? What's there? What's going to happen next? If I lean over too far, is the boat going to go over? Pay attention to all that great stuff, and that fish will come to you. Don't accelerate the fight. Let that fish come to you and work its way towards you and do the proper fight. The biggest credit is to Caroline because she fought it with a saltwater acumen. She fought it like anglers don't. The one we caught in 2011 at 31.2, the only reason why we landed that fish, that gentleman had been steelhead fishing 2 weeks before and had landed 34 and 36-inch steelhead. It's all up here. Big fish are here. They're not in your brute strength. They're not in your flies. They're not in your line. It's all right between the ears. You don't luck into them. You work your way into them.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let me get this right. You've caught a 31 and a half, and then you've caught this 30.5. Are those the two biggest fish of your career?
At the South
on
Fork,
the South Fork.
Yeah. Those are landed fish. Yes.
Right. And you feel like you've hooked bigger fish than that?
Oh, yeah.
Had people hook?
Especially the one last June where we saw it. It literally broke the rod. It sounded like a shotgun went off. The guy went ass over tea kettle. It was that big. You don't lift a megalodon well over 30 inches like an 8-inch bass into a net. And that's what he tried to do. He was a first-time fly fisherman, never fly fishing before, had been bass fishing, knew how to land a fish on a spinning rod into a net or into a boat. And his mind was, I'm going to accelerate this. I'm going to land it quicker than I need to. But he doesn't understand that part. He's just trying to land it because he's excited. You've got to let the fish do what it's going to do, and then you can get it. And he accelerated the process and broke the rod in. And it was just, he was crestfallen. And the guy in the back of the boat, by the way, who was hosting his trip, who's been fly fishing all his life, started dry heaving. He's literally going, because that fish was so big, he knew what it meant for everybody. Here's a guy fly fishing all his life, and the guy who's never fly fished before gets the super megalodon. I mean, those things happen. It's a perfect world when you can get it into the net. You can't accelerate the fight. You can't try to beat it. It's got to beat itself. We're not there to beat it. We're there to, it's a prize fight. I've been using this analogy for a while now. When you're on a big fish, it's like a prize fighter. Okay, the top prize fighter is going to test you with a jab, right? He's going to see what his opponent's going to do and how it's going to respond. That's my philosophy on fighting big fish. We're going to test that fish. We're going to throw that jab. We're going to have that fish feel that, and then we're going to see what its tactics are, what it's going to do, what its next move is. We're going to anticipate that. That's what a good fighter does. Throws a jab. Is he going to throw a hook, an undercut? What's he going to do next? We're going to throw that jab and watch what that fish does and try to get it another tactic to get it in. We just keep doing that. We keep jabbing away until that fish tires out or it gives us the opportunity to net him.
That's really the real art of guiding, I think, is the communication of things like that. Because that's like we're having a long conversation here, and you're telling me about how you feel about your philosophy about fighting big fish, and I get it, and that's great. But it's a whole different deal when somebody is standing in a drift boat for the first time. They've never done this before, and you're trying to give them kind of an analogy about a prize fighter, and you're saying, "Oh, well, just pull on it a little bit, and then let's see what it does." That's hard to do. It's really hard to do. It's hard to do, and sometimes as a guide, you just look at the person and you go, well, they're doing a pretty good job. I don't know, like, if I give them more instruction right now, do they just clamp the reel down, like you're saying, and it's like, don't let them go, and don't let them, don't let them pull too hard, and then they clamp the reel down and break them off, and you're like, man, if I hadn't have said that, then maybe they wouldn't have done that, right? Like maybe I made them nervous, or maybe I gave them too much information when things were going kind of pretty well. And I just kind of wonder that as I got more experience guiding, I started to just kind of wonder, like, what is the best approach there? And it's one thing when you're dealing with somebody. Why? What are you chuckling about?
I'm chuckling because it's all right here. It's between the client's ears. The client's an extension of you only if they listen to you. So clients learn clients learn in a variety of ways. There's tactile learning, there's verbal, and there's visual. No one has one above the other. They do them in combination. So if you can figure out how that client learns, then you can appeal to them differently with your language and your instructions on how to cast, how to land a fish, how to set a hook. You've got to be able to figure that part out. How is that client learning? What's he doing? Is he responding in a tactile fashion to that heavy pull? Sure he is. But what's between his ears? What's going on with the rest of it? Is he visual? He's not paying attention. Is his mind gone blank? He's just feeling that fish. That's where you got to get into psychology, the deep psychology of what they're thinking and what they're doing and what the next move is going to be, and trying to preempt that. Not just don't grab the line, don't grab the reel, don't do this. It's coaching them into their next move, trying to anticipate what they're going to do next, whether it's right or wrong.
Mm-hmm. How many of the bigger fish of your career do you think were from very experienced anglers, and how many from very inexperienced anglers? Do you see any correlation there?
No. The gentleman who landed 31.2, it just happens. But I've formulated a theory on where these big fish lie. And like the gentleman in 2011, he couldn't hit the bushes like we want him to hit. We couldn't get in underneath the trees, couldn't do this. He was 10, 12 feet off the bank in 8 to 10 feet of water. That's where those big fish sit. So there's a randomness to it, but it's not as random as you think. If you look at how we fought that fish in 10 to 15, that's where that fish lives most of its life. If we can access those fish in that kind of water, it's not the big fish underneath the trees slapping a salmon fly. That's a lot of fun, right? It's the big fish picking up the dregs. It's just like bluefish beneath the schoolies. You got schoolies, and you got the big blues down below just gently feeding on everything else the schoolies have torn up. That's what these big trout do. They find a depth, they feel comfortable, they're concealed, they haven't been seen. By the way, both of those fish did not have one human-caused scar on them at all, not one. Everybody thinks these are big grizzled fish, been hooked a dozen times and kicked everybody else's ass. Not one hooking scar on either one of those fish, period. Nothing human caused on either one of those. So they live their lives in seclusion at a certain depth and away from the other ones. They're picking up like the big blues underneath the schoolies. They're picking up that food. They don't have to go seeking food out because they're burning calories. You're burning calories trying to seek food out. Let the food come to you.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they do.
Yes.
What about the other guides at the South Fork Lodge? Is everyone having a big fish year? Are there? I mean, I've heard from other friends that are fishing the South Fork right now of some really big days, like 10 fish over 21 inches. I think one day I heard somebody catch. That's a great day. I mean, that's a really fantastic day. I just wonder what your crew so far this year. What do you think about this year?
The whole river's fishing on that level. And my theory is we're almost at an all-time low in fish populations. Fish and Game did the electroshocking. We did that other podcast on Fish and Game in the South Fork. Mm-hmm. Fish and Game's been electroshocking. Populations are low. What I'm going to say is that the guardian fish, the littler fish, I mean, a 21-inch fish compared to a 30 is a little fish to me.
Sure.
Those guardian fish that would normally eat your flies and create 100 fish day are gone. We don't have as many as we used to. The population is down to almost a historic low. So what's happening is those fish that would get to a fly in advance of a bigger fish aren't there anymore. That's why we're having this big fish cycle and access. It's as much a cycle as it is accessing the big fish because the guardian fish aren't there anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If we have a higher population,
it really does.
If we're up to 6,000 fish per mile, that big megalodon has got 20, 30, 40 fish in front of it just doing this. Your fly never gets a chance to get to that megalodon or that 24 or that 25 or that 21 because all those guys are doing this in front of him. When you have this, or you have the megalodon doing this because there's nothing in front of him, that's how you access these bigger fish. So it's more, in my mind, it's more an access issue.
And so what's going on with Idaho Fish and Game? You've had your disagreements with them. What fill us in on what's happening there as far as the South Fork goes?
Well, they ran out of money for the shocking. So they're not electroshocking anymore. They were electroshocking for as much as 7 weeks, 4 days a week, hitting the same holes for 7 weeks. Their mortality rate was far greater than they ever thought. They were saying it was 1% to 3%. It had to be much higher because our populations plummeted. They didn't release their numbers in 2022 because I believe they were so dismal. We tried several different requests and several different avenues, and they never came out. So right now, they're leaving it up to the anglers to remove rainbows and hybrids, which, by the way, the river's already hybridized to a great extent. We're probably at 98% rainbow cutthroat hybrids, and there's hardly any pure rainbows left. So they're leaving it to the anglers to go ahead and do that. So
are the anglers and guides doing that?
The lodge is doing it. The other guides are not. So the angler, the public's contributing in about, they've never really gone above a couple thousand fish a year. The South Fork receives 400,000 visitors a year. I mean, it's a really highly used resource. Out of 400,000 visitors, you've got the general public keeping 2,000 fish. That means they're not on board with the program. They don't want to kill all the fish Fish and Game wants. Fish and Game's first target is like 22,000 fish the public will kill for us. They will kill for us. And the public did not. And they continued not to. That's why they stepped it up to the electroshocking to remove the fish because the public wasn't doing what they wanted to do. So the court of public opinion's out there already saying, hey, we don't like your program. So their program hasn't won the court of public opinion at all. It's the exact opposite. It's like less than a 0.25% of people are participating in the program. So it's kind of where it is. We're looking at it from a couple different angles. There's a group out of University of Wyoming that's just done a basin-wide genetic study all the way from Jackson Hole through here. I'm waiting personally to get the results to see where that's going to lie, to see if these fish, I know by anecdotal evidence, by the stocking records, by the passing of hatchery fish from Palisades Reservoir into the river, we don't have a native fish. We just can't. It just doesn't happen. We're waiting for those genetic records to come out for an official reason, not just an anecdotal. And by the way, the current genetic testing cannot differentiate between a wild, native, or hatchery cutthroat. So you can't tell who's native. You've got 3 different possibilities, and they all 3 exist in the river.
And so, if this information comes back and you find that the cutthroat that is in the river is not necessarily a native strain, the Snake River fine spot cutthroat, right? That's the one that
Right.
should be there. And if it is hybridized or it's not the right strain, then what happens? They want to kill all those?
You know, it's an interesting conundrum. We all love the cutthroat. The South Fork has a very, very unique opportunity because its spawning tributaries are all protected. They have fish sorting weirs on the spawning tributaries, so the cutthroat can swim up and be sorted away from the rainbows and hybrids. They're all hybridized. So they can swim up there and reproduce naturally, and then those fish come back into the system. That's implanted on them. So we have that unique ability to maintain a wild, naturally reproducing cutthroat population. The South Fork is no longer a native cutthroat fishery. We all agree it's a wild, naturally reproducing cutthroat fishery. So the question is, what about the balance? So the balance has been tipped because they're calling this a Yellowstone cutthroat fishery. They stocked a whole bunch of Yellowstone cutthroat in here. That's a far inferior fish to a Snake River fine-spotted cutthroat. The fine-spotted cutthroat has 7 different predators it grows up with. The Yellowstone cutthroat has 2. The fine-spotted cutthroat.
What are the predators?
You have the in-stream predators.
7.
You have the in-stream predators. I mean, whitefish eat fry, cutthroat eat fry, everything eats fry. Then you've got the avian predators. Then you have the otters and mammalian predators. And so between all the ones that are in the river, basically, it's made that Snake River cutthroat a really hard fighter. The water up in Jackson's more tumultuous. It drops. It's harder to survive in. So the Yellowstone cutthroat growing up with 2 different predators really doesn't have that ability to fight mano-a-mano with a rainbow population. In the past, there's been a couple 100,000 rainbows stocked into the reaches around Jackson. And lo and behold, what's happened is a Snake River fine-spotted cutthroat outcompeted them and chased them out of the system. So if we re-centralize the priority to Snake River fine-spotted cutthroats, we're going to have a far better chance for these fish to survive in the river.
And what do you think the Idaho Fish and Game's opinion of that is?
I don't think they just want the native fish. There's some sort of drive in Idaho Fish and Game. It used to be monetary because they were receiving a grant to do this. That grant expired after 5 years. So it's not angler satisfaction because anglers, by their very own studies, have said we want, plenty of fish. We'd rather have trophy fish above native fish. So it's really a mix. It's a real conundrum. I believe it's financial driven. So, I think we really, again, we have that unique opportunity to maintain the cutthroat population through the management of the tributaries. My opinion is we need to put egg boxes in the river with cutthroat eggs, with Snake River fine-spotted cutthroat eggs, and put those in the river to supplant that population, not a hatchery population, but to really do the naturally wild reproducing cutthroat population. There's one, Tom, kind of going back to the native argument, the Snake River fine-spotted cutthroat is propagated by the Jackson Hole Fish Hatchery. The Flat Creek Hatchery in Jackson?
Yeah,
They only propagate Snake River fine-spotted cutthroat. They've never propagated Yellowstone cutthroat. The brood stock for that came from the South Fork before the dam. They put that in the hatchery, and that's all they propagate. They don't do anything else. Snake River fine-spotted cutthroat. And they put those into Palisades Reservoir. So what was it, about 3 years ago, Idaho Fish and Game gave the Flat Creek hatchery sterilization equipment to sterilize all the fish they're putting into Palisades Reservoir. So in my mind, Tom, every argument has a big red truck argument. You know what big red truck argument is?
No.
The blonde calls up to the fire department and goes, fire department, my house is on fire. And the fire department says, well, how do we get there? She goes, well, duh, big red truck. So this is the big red truck argument for the non-native below Palisades, is they're sterilizing all the snake river fine spotted cutthroat they put in Palisades because they come through the dam every day. They've been introgressing into our population below the dam ever since the dam has been finished and propagated with snake river fine spotted cutthroat from the hatchery. You can't undo over 60 years of introgression. You can't call it native after they've come through for 10 years. So you have a wild, naturally reproducing population. So let's get the management back to being cutthroat-centric. Let the anglers make up their mind on what they want to catch and keep. If they don't, they don't. That's just fine. Let the public make their mind up, and let Fish and Game manage the cutthroat population for higher success.
Right. Well, and is there are there meetings all year long that the public gives their opinion, or are they doing that by surveys, or how
They've
is
done
the public
surveys,
giving
but
their opinion?
The public really doesn't weigh in very heavily. And
Mm-hmm.
it's
an interesting thing because it's not, I mean, there's the public that lives in and around Jackson and Swan Valley in that area, but then there's 400,000 other people that are using the river every year that are the public. And maybe once they leave that area, they don't think about, I mean, they think about their trip and they want to go back, but they don't really, they're not in communication with, I don't know, maybe Idaho Fish and Game is. I mean, they have fishing license information, so maybe they are sending them surveys, but chances are they're not.
Let me backtrack for a second on the psychology of how people don't participate. This is recreation. These people are recreating to release from these arguments. They deal with them in their everyday workaday world. They come out here not to get into that world. They don't want to be in that world. They want to release it until that pain is so great that they don't catch any fish for multiple visits. They don't weigh in. They don't want to ruin that recreational experience. They don't want to ruin that relaxation.
Also, there's a significant amount of those people that just go somewhere else. They don't want to, like you say, they don't want to get involved, so they just go to the green, or they go to a different river, or they just try a different vacation next time.
It's too easy to point a finger at failure if you get involved. It's Fish and Game's failure. I'm not catching fish because of Fish and Game. Well, sometimes a lot of times that's the case. A Fish and Game is mismanaging, but sometimes it's the angler's fault. They're not willing to progress or grow in their sport. We get all that. It's a huge spider web that contributes to this. It's not easy to even point at one or two reasons. It's just a big conundrum that it just doesn't unravel itself, and that's human nature. That's why business doesn't flow minute by minute. It flows by committee.
Yep. And this is business too, one way or another. And it's a big business. I mean, the sport fishing industry inland and in saltwater is massive and drives tremendous amount of other business like lodge business, hotel business, restaurant business, rental cars, airplanes, everything. It drives a lot of business. So there is business there. Well, I'm so glad we got a chance to do this. I know that you have an excited client waiting for you at the lodge here momentarily. So I want to be respectful of your time.
I appreciate that.
You're not a guy that shows up late, and I just want to commend you on something. I think of guiding, and I have tremendous respect for guiding. I feel like guiding is a profession that should be looked at as an art form. And there are certain people that take guiding to an art form and they work on it every single day. And I've fished with you as a client and I have talked with you as a guide. And you, my friend, are one of these people that takes guiding to an art form. You are paying attention to the psychology. You are paying attention to the river. You're taking care of the fish. You're standing in the way of things that damage your river. And I just want to give you some real accolades for that. I can see it, and I'm sure that many other people see it. 67,000 guided river miles don't go. That you don't do that without learning a few things along the way. But you are taking guiding to an art form, and I really appreciate that personally.
It's nice to be able to share, for people to learn and bring themselves up. I hope this podcast does that for the guides, the future guides, and for clients as well.
I hope so. I have to ask you, what about Dude? Your little dude? Your dog?
Oh, he's ambitious. He reminds me of a little like me. I was young. Is he still around? Oh yeah, he's still around. He's got skills.
Oh, and does he fish with you every day?
No. Oh, and he fishes for the South Fork. Oh, I mean, little bro.
You had your little bro. I called him Dude.
Little bro.
Bro. Yeah.
No, unfortunately, little bro was killed in an accident.
Oh my gosh, Ed! I'm so sorry. That's one of my favorite pictures I have on that day when we did my son's bachelor party with you and the other guides, and I had little bro. He was a great dog, a great companion for you.
He influenced a lot of people.
Did I hear a replacement in the background there? Do you have another dog that you go fishing with?
Yeah, I have 3. I have a silver Labrador, a Llewellyn setter, and then a rescue. And ironically, the rescue. I saw the rescue's picture on Snake River Animal Shelter site the day that Bro was killed. And we all swore that was little Bro Jr. So I had to go rescue him in memory of little Bro.
Good for you. Is he a boat dog?
No, he's still scared of his own shadow. He was abused. So he's found a home here. He's very comfortable, but Sissy's the boat dog now. She's the one that sits in your seat, puts her head on your lap when you have a tangle, and looks at you and says, "The world's not that bad, Tom. We'll get over this together."
Well, I know that Bro did that with me. Everybody gets tangles, and I don't know. I like dogs. Since we fished together on that bachelor party, I'm now a grandfather, 15-month-old boy. So Turner has had a baby, and his name is Bridger, named after the Bridger Mountains out there, and just doing great. I just can't believe that it's been that long since we fished together, but that's what's happened.
Well, it'd be great to be part of his first Snake River trip if you ever get it back out here with him.
I know. Let's do that. That would be so
Absolutely
amazing. They're coming out this summer, but I don't know. He may not quite be old enough. Maybe from Spring Creek to Conant, or Spring Creek to the lodge. He could probably float that right now.
We can make it work one way or the other.
Okay, I'll tell Turner.
Kids love it.
Listen, Ed, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it, and we'll get out there and fish with you soon. If anyone wants to go fishing with Ed or try to get on his schedule, I think he's got a very, very tough schedule, but you are at South Fork Lodge. Tell people how they can fish with South Fork Lodge, with your crew, with you, how they can keep in touch.
Just go to South Fork Lodge or Ed Emory at Facebook. We're really busy. We're booked almost a year out in advance. So call early, call often, book early, book often.
That's good advice. All right, Ed, I hope you have a great day today. And we will be back with another great guest like Ed next week. So we'll see you then.
Appreciate you reaching out.